on my Yoga for Emotional Wellbeing series. This is the first of our online 9-part series that will take us through a whole bunch of human emotions, some of the stuff we get stuck on, like anxiety, self-worth, guilt, shame. We're going to go through all of the tough stuff, but today is starting your journey, number 1. I hope you get something out of this. It's just a run through of some of the basics we see in yoga, just to really get comfortable, let go of those nerves and get started, because starting is the hardest. So I commend you for being here. Come and join me on the mat. So let's take a seat. So we're in easy pose to start our practice today, which ain't always easy. So either supporting your hips with a block or a cushion can sometimes feel better on your hips, or we can support our thighs too with blocks or cushions. Just be kind to your body here. So let's settle in. So we start our practice with some nice deliberate breaths. Perhaps even noticing where you feel the breath going in the body. The movement of air, maybe you can sense your body moving with the in and out breath here. And we're going to let go of everything from the outside world just for a moment. Deliberately tuning in to our body on the floor or our cushion. Maybe even our body for a sec has some aches or pains or tension. We're just going to breathe here. So we're not trying to fix anything, we're not trying to change anything, we're just going to be in our body for a moment. And hands to heart center here, let's set our intention. So our sankalpa is what our heart most desires from this practice. So looking inward for a moment, not analysing, not trying to, think about this too much. What does my heart really want from this time for myself? Just 1 or 2 words. And breathe it in. Let's move now. So let's move with our breath if we can. Hands are outstretched, maybe just touching the mat with our fingertips, shoulders are down. And on the next inhale, we're going to just bend that elbow and bend to one side here. Slowly if you can. We're going to move slowly with our breath today, because it sends the message to our nervous system that there is no threat and that we're okay to slow down. Coming back to center, so we'll do that one more time. Elbow comes to ground and our palm comes over the side of our head here. Back the other way. As we move today, I give you permission to do what your body is asking you to do, not necessarily what your yoga instructor does. Your body has more wisdom than anything. Lovely. So back to center, and we'll do a little twist here. So nice long spine, chin is just slightly tucked here. Take a breath. We're going to twist to one side, so you can even support your weight with the hand at the back. And on the exhale, you may notice you twist a little deeper, using the knee for support. And then back the other way, so looking forward before we twist. Twisting, hinging, long spine, loose neck, and look over the back shoulder. Deliberate breath in the pose. Beautiful. Back to the front. Lovely. So we're going to forward fold over our crossed legs here just for a moment. It's a nice little stretch to open up the hip flexors. So just reaching forward as if somebody is pulling you while still keeping your sit bones on the ground. And then you can look down here and breathe out the tension. Exhaling stress. And coming up. Now leaning back here, we're going to cross our legs the other way. And we'll do that again, just leaning forward. You might notice a difference side to side. You tend to have a difference left to right. Exhale, tension. And sliding back up, beautiful. So let's come into cat-cow. This is just almost like the foundation of any yoga practice, cat-cow. So we start in what we call tabletop, which is our neutral position. Wrists under shoulders, knees hip width apart. You can have the toes tucked or flat, doesn't matter. And just finding a bit of stability here, maybe tucking the core in just a little bit. Breathing in the pose. And for our cat, we're going to arch our spine. Inhale, looking up, opening the chest. Shoulders are away from the ears. And then we exhale, round the spine, round the shoulders, looking down. And moving with your breath once more. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch the spine, gently here, look up, open the heart, and come back to neutral. So we should be warming up the spine here at this point. If you feel like maybe you want to do a few natural wriggles, left, right, maybe a circle or two, this can feel really good. We're awakening the body, awakening the spine. Lovely. So we're going into our first downward dog. So making sure our hands are nice and wide, the fingers are spread wide for stability. And we tuck our toes at the back here. We're going to round the shoulders, lift the hips and push back, downward dog. Now we're looking for a triangle shape, but it doesn't matter if our feet don't touch the ground. You can bend the knees generously because you can get more height in the hips when we bend our knees. And it should feel like our shoulders are away from the ears. This should feel really stable here. Maybe even walking the hamstrings and the calves. Lovely. So then look towards your hands, maybe some baby steps. We're going to come up into a forward fold. So from this position, we're just going to hang down. Feet are hip width apart. We're just going to let the body hang here. You may like to cross your arms or just let them hang wherever feels comfortable for you. The neck is nice and loose. We're going to exhale any of the tension we feel in our spine or our hamstrings, micro bend in the knees here. This is our forward fold. And to come to standing, we're just going to swing our arms up, keeping our knees bent. Inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Nice big breath here. Sometimes the shifting of the energy there can make us a bit dizzy, so really go gentle on yourself. This is not a performance. This is an inner experience, like a moving meditation, if you will. So lots of compassion, lots of kindness. We're leaving our thinking brain at the door. Let's take another big breath with our arms here. Breathe in, arms up, look up. Exhale, arms come down. We'll do that one more time. Breathe in, arms up. Look up. Exhale, arms down with the breath. There's something magic about moving with your breath. So from here we'll do one more. Inhale, arms up, and we're going to hinge forward at the hips here. So we're going to hinge forward back into another forward fold. And exhale. And in yoga, we do a little half lift, so flat back. Hands can come to shins or thighs. I'm just going to lift for a minute and then exhale, come back down into forward fold. So deliberate step back with your left foot here, say. So we're going into what we call a lunge. So this is in yoga called a high lunge. Finding some stability in the pose here. So this can feel really enlivening. We're using lots of muscles. The back leg is bent and the heel off the ground here, called a high lunge. Now if you feel nice and stable, you might like to even raise your arms up. And exhale, arms down. To experiment with our stability and our strength in this pose, you might like to try Warrior Two. So that is when we open and plant the heel. We can almost feel all of the foot making contact with the floor there. Our hips open out, our chest opens to the side. So it's like an open, almost like a open pose, if you will. It's opening up the chest and heart center, our hips. It's really opening a lot of things. Pose of courage. There is still weight in the front foot here. You can almost see your toe. If you look down, you should be able to see your toe. Arms are out wide, getting lots of spaciousness here. Breathing as the heat builds. Warrior Two. So let's do a peaceful warrior here. We turn the palm to face up receptively. This arm comes back. We're just going to hinge back a little bit. It's sort of opening up the chest area. And then come back into Warrior Two. Triangle pose. We're just going to lift that back foot in a little bit here, straightening the front leg. Don't lock out the knees, so tiny little bend here. We're just going to keep this hip right where it is as we pull forward with the front arm and then twist. This is triangle. The Holy Trinity. It's a wonderful pose. Combines an open twist with strength, stability, courage. You can look up if that feels okay for your neck. It's really opening out our heart center, and we should feel like we're in one long plane. Like if you had two pieces of glass, we'd be slid in between. Inhale, come back to Warrior Two. And then we're going to bring the feet together. So step the back leg up to join both feet at the front. Nice breath here. We're going to take a moment and see if you can sense a difference either side of your body. We're really getting things moving now. So be at peace with where your body is at. Be kind and enjoy this movement and the breath. Don't worry about how it looks. It's about how it feels. So right leg back here. This is our high lunge. So it can be a bit destabilizing. So the back heel is off, the knee is bent, and it's sort of like this beautiful mix between like we're balancing, but it's also stable. You can even widen the leg if that feels a little bit more stable for you. So really grounding in our core here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms come down. Lovely strength building. So let's plant that back foot. Open out the hips, back into Warrior Two on the other side. Arms come out spaciously, making sure we feel nice and stable. Weight's in the front leg, you can see our toe. The back leg is sort of nice and straight and stable, getting spaciousness here. Looking over the front fingers. And for our peaceful warrior, we turn the palm up, arm comes down. Peaceful warrior, breathing here. And back to Warrior Two. Let's step the back leg in just a little. Straighten the front leg. We're going into triangle pose here, Trikonasana. Keeping this hip stable, we're pulling forward and then we twist. Oh, don't lock out the knee. So we can look up to the sky if that feels okay, or just straight ahead. This is a lovely chest opener, shoulders open. Lovely. Back to Warrior Two. And then let's step together. Feet come together. Let's stand tall in what we call mountain pose here. Making sure we feel both feet on the ground. A little micro bend in the knees. Tuck the pelvis. Lift the chest. Just tuck the chin a little bit. And elongating our neck and spine as if there's a string pulling us nice and tall. Breathing here in this beautiful mountain pose, very grounding. And let's open out wide now. So we're going to take a big step. So we're going lengthways across our mat. Big step. Feet are sort of like in a 45-degree angle, so we've got our feet sort of wide. But don't go too wide. We're gonna be doing a bit of a squat here. So this is called Goddess Pose. Making sure you feel lovely and grounded here. This should feel really strong. You know, this is about building our energy, making sure we feel enriched, enlivened. So we're going to bring our arms out wide, if that feels okay. Maybe even into cactus here. Cactus arms. We're going to bend the knees, squatting down, and we're trying to keep our spine nice and long. So we're not bending forward or back. We're just going to try and keep that center of gravity here. Open up the heart space. Shoulders are away from the ears. And then let's come back, hands to heart center. So we'll do that 2 more times. Arms come out. Inhale. Exhale as we bend down into our Goddess Pose. What a lovely pose. Back, hands to heart center. If anything comes up for you in any of these poses, you're meant to deal with it. So just treat it with compassion. Cactus arms out. Goddess. You can even hard out the stress, detoxifying. If you would like to try either side, maybe a lunge, we can go just sort of testing where your knees and hips are at. You can even widen it a bit further and maybe a side lunge here. Toes are pointing up to the ceiling. You can use blocks and support too with the ground. It doesn't have to be all your body weight. So a couple of these with your breath. And if it feels okay for you, we're going into Malasana, which is a squat all the way to the ground. So let's walk our hands down. You can even just lean forward if that's okay for you. So we're going to try and squat with our elbows supporting our weight. But like I said, let's just use the floor because this is a really deep stretch in our hip and pelvis area. So maybe even a little rock here. Lots of deep breaths, breathing in that prana. And let's take a seat. However that looks for you. We'll take a seat. Beautiful. So coming down to our mat, this is stick pose. So stick Dandasana looks easy, but it ain't actually that great for some of us on our hips or sitting up straight. So if you do need support, lift those hips off the ground. So nice long spine, chin slightly tucked, just nice length and spaciousness here. We're going to inhale our arms up one more time. Inhale. And exhale, let's forward fold over our legs, however that looks for you. You can just stay here. If you can reach your feet, great. It's not a competition. And exhale, tension. Exhale all the stress. We're moving forward in life. These forward folds show us how much resistance we have to moving forward. It can be really hard. Starting any journey will bring up all sorts of fears, anxieties, insecurities, so be kind. And then supporting our weight to come back up again. So from here we're going to do a little head to knee pose it's called. I'm going to twist around, but you can stay right where you are. Just want you to see. So from that stick pose, I'm going to grab one foot and putting it into the thigh there, so it just creates a little bit of pressure there. Getting nice and firm on our sit bones. So this is what it says it is. It's called head to knee pose. So we're going to make sure our torso is facing our leg and foot. Toes are nice and flexed. Inhale, arms up once more. And exhale. Exhale, tension. Once again. Supporting our weight. And we're going to do a little Sage Mariachi twist here. So bring that knee up. You can place the foot here or here. It's okay either way. We're going to lengthen the spine once more, making sure our sit bones are planted. We're going to do another twist here. So either elbow or hand on knee, however feels good for you. I'm going to look back over that shoulder. Like we did at the start of the practice, but this time our legs are a bit different. Exhaling the tension, making sure that blood flow is getting to all, wringing out the stress. Beautiful pose for digestion and our immunity. So look to the front and untwist. And then we'll go the other way. So the other ankle comes to the inner thigh, a little bit of pressure there. Inhale, looking towards our flexed toe here if we can. Inhale for length in the spine and spaciousness. And exhale, forward fold. Wherever you would like your hands to be is okay. And exhale all that tension once more. Supporting your weight to come up. We come to yoga to let go of tension, not create more if you haven't noticed already. This should feel like we're letting go of stuff. So foot is up, stretched here. It can either be across or there. Just find that position that feels okay for you. Hand or elbow, and we're going to twist over the back shoulder, supporting the length in our spine. Inhale, exhale to look over the back shoulder. Let your light shine. That's what Sage Mariachi twist was meant to imply in Sanskrit. And coming back to the front. Maybe a little shake of the legs here. Feeling how good our body might be starting to loosen, starting to let go of stuff. So we're going to bring both legs forward fold. This is wide-legged, so make sure it's comfortable for you. It doesn't matter where it is. You can still prop the hips or bend the knees with either a pillow or a block underneath here if this just doesn't feel right. But find where you feel really good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Wide leg forward fold here. Toes are flexed. And you may notice with each out breath that tension disappears. We want the stress and the build-up of life to let go in our practice. Little smile here, making sure the jaw is loose. Perhaps even reminding yourself of this sankalpa, the intention you set at the start of the practice. Supporting the weight to come up. Beautiful. So from here we're going to bring both ankles together into what we call bound angle or butterfly. Whichever name you prefer. I mean, butterfly does sound nice. So some people really like to move in this way, so it looks like flapping butterfly wings, but I think it's much better to go gentle and slow here. So let's just notice what that feels like to open up like this. You know, we're sort of activating certain chakras and energy points here, so this can be a bit vulnerable. If you like to forward fold over this bound angle, you can, but it doesn't need much. Most of us just need a little forward bend to open it up even further. And come back to center. Beautiful. So let's lie back down on the mat now. Give yourself a little pat on the back for getting this far. So slowly let's roll down. And doesn't that feel good to just collapse? So putting our ankles or feet as close to the buttocks as you can get here, finding some stability there. Palms are touching the ground for groundedness, and we're going into a bridge. So we're basically just rounding and lifting the pelvis and the hips into the sky. We might even want to tuck the shoulders back here because the weight really does shift. And it's kind of nice to feel like the perspective changes completely. Everything is upside down. So really embrace this change of perspective. It's hard to look at things a different way. Inhale in, exhale in the pose. Don't let the knees go out or go in. We're just trying to keep that stability and all our glutes activated. So to roll down, we lift the heels and then roll the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, down to the ground. Hug the knees into the chest, wind release pose, it's a glorious name. Maybe even a little side rock, that feels nice. Lots of deep, nourishing breath here. And then we place our feet back on the ground, going into a reclined pigeon as our last pose here before we let it all go in Shavasana. So we bring one heel or ankle over the knee, and you can either stay here if that feels okay for you, or you can reach through, lift the foot and the thigh and sort of pull that towards you. It's a reclined runner's stretch or reclined pigeon here. Toes are flexed. And you can even play around here with how the hip muscles and the side glutes really open up here. Lovely big breaths. Exhaling tension, breathing into the areas that feel tight. And we come down. Let's swap. Ankle to knee, staying either here or lifting that up, reaching through to that thigh and pulling down, flexing toes, finding the sweet spot in your hips. Beautiful. On the exhale, bring the feet down, ankles come to ground. Let's let it all hang down now. If you would like to support your thighs at this point with a little bit of comfort on the lower spine, we can always put blocks under our lower thighs here. This is nice because when we let everything roll and hang out, take up space, let the feet hang loose, maybe even tucking the shoulders under, this is where everything comes together. This is why we do yoga, because we can meditate better, we can feel our bodies better when we have released the tension. Breathe with awareness, reminding yourself of your sankalpa, your intention that you started with. Breathe and let it go here. So if this feels good for you here, please stay, pause the video, give yourself 10 minutes and allow your mind to let go of everything. And if your thoughts get in the way, simply return to the body or the breath and give yourself the gift that is Savasana. Congratulating yourself for all your hard work. And when you need to return to your life, just simply rolling to one side, little fetal position just to finish off here. And we usually come up to seated just to finish off our practice. I commend you for doing this with me. I really appreciate the energy and the commitment. So I'd like to say the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.